feeling like I'm Akademiks. Can't ride away.
Oh, let's watch this real quick.
A promising young man with a bright future.
So chat, yo, there's been so much that happened with this. I can't give it all the update. Let's watch this real quick. Here we go. So, by the way, this guy's been caught. If you don't know, they caught him at McDonald's eating a hash brown. What's his name? Luigi Mangione. Hash brown. He put his mask down to fucking eat a hash brown. That's how he got caught. Supposedly a worker at the McDonald's made the call. That the police officer came, and when they found him, they even asked for his ID. He gave the fake ID that supposedly he checked into the hostel with. He had a backpack with him that had a gun with a silencer. He had a notebook that had what they call a manifesto, which is like a long essay of him literally just saying, yo, I acted alone. I did this because A, B, C, and D. Now, interestingly enough, when they dragged him to court, like there was like this video that popped up, or like, you know, let's see. He was basically shouting out some shit. Look.
Just about an hour ago, I was there inside that courthouse watching as Luigi, through the duration, made the case service.
Okay. So he started shouting out. Let me see. Look, here he is.
We are seeing plenty of media curious. Let's dive into these comments.
A request that you made, though, about...
So this is what happened when he showed up. They bring him out the other side. He knows the media is there, and now he's going to start shouting.
Dude, come on.
As completely out of cuffs, and as an insult to the intelligence of the American people and its lived experience. Intelligence of the American people.
So he starts shouting on all that type of shit. They ask what about the outburst. Now, apparently, you know, his defense attorney's doing interviews. The dude is trying to act like shit was planted on him. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, yo, bruv, let me tell you this, nigga. You see these thick-ass eyebrows you got, nigga? Nigga, it could have been only 2 suspects in the whole United States, my nigga. Actually, 3. After we seen the eyebrows on the suspect pictures from New York, it could have only been 3 people. You, Anthony Davis, or Elmo, my nigga. I'm going to keep it a bean with you. Don't Elmo got some thick-ass eyebrows? I'm going to trip it. Elmo. Oh, no, it's not Elmo. Isn't there a Sesame Street character with like some thick-ass eyebrows? Who am I thinking of? It's not Elmo. It's one of them. They got thick-ass eyebrows. Niggas, it's not Elmo, nigga. It's one of them. They got thick-ass eyebrows. Who is it? Who is it? Bro, like, yo, this nigga think we dumb. It's Grover? No, who is it? Bert. It's Bert, that motherfucker. Bert, yes. Nigga, the picture we saw, it's you, Anthony Davis. It's either you, Anthony Davis, or fucking Bert from Sesame Street, nigga. Like, nigga, stop playing with me, nigga. Stop fucking playing with me. Them fucking eyebrows we could see a mile away, nigga. If you were really trying to get away with this crime, you would have shaved your eyebrows, gang. Stop playing, bruh. Stop the fucking playing. Stop the blood clot crime. Stop playing, nigga. You knew them eyebrows was going to give you away. Stop playing. So anyway, this whole thing saying, oh, no, it ain't me. Get out of here, nigga. Once I seen them eyebrows, I said there's 3 suspects. Luigi Mangione, Bert from motherfucking Sesame Street, or Anthony Davis from the goddamn LA Lakers.
attorney for Luigi Mangione. And Thomas, I appreciate your time. And obviously you are dealing with this, your other cases as well in court today. The NYPD commissioner tonight is announcing that the gun that your client had on him when he was arrested in Pennsylvania at that McDonald's, they are saying that specific gun matches the 3 shell casings at the scene of the murder in New York. What's your response to that from the New York NYPD commissioner tonight?
Yes, Aaron, thank you for having me, first of all. You know, Aaron, I still haven't seen that evidence. Lawyers need to see evidence. Those saying you have something and getting that admitted into court are 2 different things. In fact, so what we're talking about is fingerprint evidence and some ballistics. Those 2 sciences in and of themselves have come under some criticism in the past relative to their credibility, their truthfulness, their accuracy, however you want to do it. So that's why, as lawyers, we need to see it. We need to see how do they collect it, how much of it matches. You know, like I don't want to get too technical, but fingerprints, they go by ridges, different things like that. And then we would have our experts. We would have extra.
Bro, stop the fucking line, man. Yo, Luigi, I'm going to keep it a beam with you, bro. I'm losing a little bit of respect for you because when you do crash out shit like that, I know you try to be smart, this and third, but I ain't expect you to be a pussy. Don't do that shit in Times Square, have a manifesto, be doing all this shit, and then when you get caught, you like, it ain't me. Somebody play, nigga, stand on it, nigga. You was trying to go down as a martyr, nigga. Like, walk in court and be a man. Accept responsibility. Or you should have smoked yourself in the fucking restaurant when the cops came in. Like, you want to be a martyr, be a martyr. Don't be a bitch ass martyr now that you eating jail food, nigga. Now, he did have, and the reason why I can't respect what the nigga doing now, the boy had a whole, you had what niggas have when they expect to die. A manifesto is because you expect not to make it, but you want your message to be sent on type shit. Now, this is the manifesto. That's supposedly manifesto Luigi. Here we go.
I think part of what's so heartbreaking is knowing the potential he had.
It's being reported that the man accused of shooting a healthcare insurance CEO in the back in the middle of Midtown Manhattan had said, quote, "It had to be done." His apparent writings have been released, and it is giving us some insight into Luigi Mangione's possible motive for this targeted attack as he appears in court for the first time. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. My ball player about whether it could be a shooting shooter inside the location, because after all, talking about this, he looked eerily similar to surveillance photos that were released by the NYPD after the shooting death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. And when police responded to that McDonald's, they ended up arresting Mangione on several charges unrelated to the shooting, by the way, because apparently he had a ghost gun in his possession as well as a fake ID. He appeared in court for the first time on Tuesday where he was denied bail, and we'll get a little bit more into that in a moment. But I want to talk about this reported handwritten note, or manifesto as it's being labeled. You see, Brian Thompson was killed 1 week ago on December 4th at around 6:45 a.m. as he walked to the Hilton Hotel for an investors conference. And surveillance footage shows this masked and hooded man lying in wait for Thompson and then approaching from behind and firing multiple shots. And ever since news about the shooting started to come out, there has been speculation that it might have something to do with health insurance coverage or health insurance costs or denials. Now, police say Thompson was targeted, and not long after that, his wife apparently told NBC News that she knew he had gotten some threats, but really there were not more details about that. And security experts have said, look, it's not uncommon for CEOs at major healthcare companies to get threats. It's a separate question of why he didn't have security with him, and we've been trying to figure that out. And especially since at the scene, and this was really bizarre, authorities recovered bullet casings with the words deny, defend, and depose on them. Words that are eerily similar to the 2010 book Delay, Deny, Defend, why insurance companies don't pay claims, and what you can do about it. And this is important because it points to a possible motive. Now, of course, motive is not an element of a crime when you're talking about the fact that he's been charged with murder in New York, but it definitely helps tell a story for a jury and for all of us. And as part of the investigation, understanding the why is incredibly, incredibly important. Now, authorities say that when they arrested Mangione in Pennsylvania, he had this handwritten manifesto, this writings, in his possession. And it specifically addressed grievances with the U.S. healthcare system. Now, an independent journalist named Ken Klippenstein released this manifesto, which was later confirmed to be the actual writings of Mangione by law enforcement. They confirmed it. This is according to outlets like TMZ and Newsweek. Now, Klippenstein titled it Exclusive Luigi's Manifesto with the subheadline, Read the Manifesto the Media Refused to Publish. Now, Klippenstein says in the post that this is the real one, not the forgery circulating online. Now, to be clear, there are parts of this handwritten manifesto that are ineligible. They're kind of hard to make out. This is according to Klippenstein. But we want to go through this document. And it says the following. To the feds, I'll keep this short because I do respect what you do for our country. To save you a lengthy investigation, I state plainly that I wasn't working with anyone. This was fairly trivial. Some elementary social engineering, basic CAD, a lot of patience. The spiral notebook, if present, has some straggling notes and to-do lists that illuminate the gist of it. My tech is pretty locked down because I work in engineering, so probably not much info there. I do apologize for any strife or traumas, but it had to be done. Frankly, these parasites simply had it coming. A reminder, the U.S. has the #1 most expensive healthcare system in the world, yet we rank roughly number 42 in life expectancy. United is the largest company in the U.S. by market cap, behind only Apple, Google, Walmart. It has grown and grown, but has our life expectancy? No. The reality is these, and then a word is kind of indecipherable there, have simply gotten too powerful, and they continue to abuse our country for immense profit because the American public has allowed them to get away with it. Obviously, the problem is more complex, but I do not have space, and frankly, I do not pretend to be the most qualified person to lay out the full argument. But many have illuminated the corruption and greed, examples Rosenthal Moore, decades ago, and the problems simply remain. It is not an issue of awareness at this point, but clearly power games at play. Evidently, I am the first to face it with such brutal honesty. So essentially, this could be interpreted as an admission. It could potentially be used against him at trial. We actually dedicated a whole sidebar episode with Professor of Law Jules Epstein going over all the evidence in this case, particularly these writings, their potential value and admissibility at trial. So I encourage everybody to check that out. But it is interesting to note that he says he acted alone, which was a central question we all had before his arrest. Questions about how...
I'm going to be honest with you. Him saying he acted alone makes me feel like he didn't act alone. It's one of those things where I think he's just being like a... I don't want to call it a real nigga, but I think he's just trying to say, blame it all on me. But I do believe he had some help. How the hell did he know the actual schedule? Maybe he knew the time when the conference was. How did he know where the person was staying? Like again, if I'm going to a place, how do you know how do you know that he's going to be alone? I don't know, man. Now, some people might be like, well, sometimes they go to these conferences and they'll tell people to book this hotel because they'll have a bunch of rooms already reserved or whatever. But it's like, man, I feel like he, I'm not saying he had people there with him on the ground, but maybe some people gave him some information and some tips that probably aided his, research and background research into figuring all this out, right?
Just a seemingly random member of the public might have had information about Thompson, where he was going, when he was going at that exact moment. Yes, we knew there was an investors conference, but how exactly he knew he'd be walking on that street at that time.
Yo, me and this thing would be thinking alike, yo. I guarantee it. That's exactly what I said, bro.
And also there was this question about, was it a contract killing? Was it a professional hit? He is saying he acted alone. So taking it as true, that's a definitely big insight that we wanted to have. By the way, considering the stories that we cover, we are very big here at Sidebar and Law and Crime with self-protection. And with that in mind, Did you know that apparently CNN also reports that the writer mused that it couldn't get any better than to, quote, kill the CEO at his own bean counting conference, seemingly in reference to the fact that Thompson was on his way to the company's annual investors conference when he was killed. By the way, talking bombs, it's being reported that there is one section there, this is being reported by CNN, where he talks about Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber. Now, that might not be entirely surprising because according to his social media activity, more specifically this Goodreads account that has been reportedly linked to him, which has since been made private, it reportedly revealed that he had recently read and rated a manifesto written by Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, titled Industrial Society and Its Future. In that review, he praises the manifesto, saying, clearly written by a mathematics prodigy, it's simply impossible to ignore how prescient many of his predictions about modern society turned out. There's also this internal police report that was obtained by the New York Times that also gives us a little more insight into this as well, because according to the Times, Mangione appeared to view the targeted killing of the company's highest-ranking representative as a symbolic takedown and a direct challenge to its alleged corruption and power games, and that he vows himself as a hero of sorts who has finally decided to act upon such injustices. And I want you to keep all this in mind. Why? Because Mangione faced a Pennsylvania judge at the Blair County Courthouse on Tuesday. And as he was taken out of a police car to be led inside the courthouse, he turns to reporters and appears to shout, "This is completely unjust and an insult to the intelligence of the American people."
And it's completely out of touch. And it's an insult to the intelligence of the American people and the lived experience.
Not really sure what that was.
Yo, Luigi Mangione, man, you got to get you a phone in jail like Taxstone, nigga. You can tell us what you think then, bro. Don't be doing that, bro. Just get a phone like Taxstone and communicate with us that way. You can get on Twitter. Just like how he on Twitter. You can just tweet to us whatever you got going on. You feel me?
In reference to, but you know what's also weird? Cameras weren't allowed inside the courthouse, but our very own Sierra Gillespie was there. And she told us yesterday during her live hit that when she was in that courtroom, Mangione seemed to want to say something in open court or was trying to say something, but was shot down by his lawyer. And speaking of that, by the way, during that quick hearing, it was revealed that Mangione plans to challenge the extradition from Pennsylvania to New York, where he is going to be facing a second-degree murder charge as well as weapon possession and forgery charges. Thomas Dickey, Mangione's attorney, says he wants a hearing on the extradition issue, and the judge ordered both sides to work on this, to work on some motions. There's also going to be an effort, I believe, by the New York Governor, Kathy Hochul, to file the appropriate paperwork so that Mangione can be extradited back to New York. Dickey actually spoke on Good Morning America on Wednesday morning and said, "I have not been made aware of any evidence that links the gun that was found on his person to the crime. So these are things that we're looking to see." The problem is that CNN reported later on in the day after his GMA appearance that law enforcement officials say fingerprints from the crime scene are now a positive match to Mangione. If that is true, that is a major piece of evidence in this case because, as CNN notes, this is the first big forensic link between Mangione and the shooting. Now, before this happened, when questioned by reporters outside of the courthouse yesterday, Dickey reminded everyone that Mangione, like every other defendant, is innocent until proven guilty.
If you're an American, you believe in the American criminal justice system, you have to presume him to be innocent. And none of us would want anything other than that if that were us in those shoes. And so I'm glad he has some support.
Mr. Dickey, you just said a moment ago that that's what lawyers do when telling their clients to be quiet. What did you mean by that?
Well, no, I mean, because I'm going to do all the talking. You know, it's you have the right to remain silent, and I believe in that right. We did not waive extradition. We're contesting extradition. We're going to fight this along the rules and with the constitutional protections that my client has, and that's what we're going to do.
So for now, Mangione was denied bail. He's going to be staying in a Pennsylvania jail, and his attorney said he is pleading not guilty to the forgery and gun charges that he faces in Pennsylvania, and that he doesn't have enough info.
I think part of what's so heartbreaking is,
man, that nigga did it, man. I think he was trying to kill a couple more CEOs. I think he thought that they wouldn't piece together things like they did that quickly. But he has to realize you pulled out a silencer, a gun with a silencer. It looked like a contract killing of a CEO. the feds got involved. The feds assisted New York in a huge task force. He probably thought if he had killed like a random person, he would have been way out the winds before they could even catch up with him. This was a big operation. They were going to catch up with him rather quickly. And that's exactly why, I think he was caught where he was caught at. I think he was trying to lay low, but they caught him. And I do think that he was going to murder again. I think the reason why he had a manifesto is because he was going to murder again, and he was going to go at other CEOs of health insurance companies because that was his gripe. Apparently, he had a debilitating injury that gave him back pain, and he had some drama with some insurance companies. Even though supposedly we heard that either his grandparents also had died in the years before, which we don't know if that's related to anything with that. But I do believe he was gonna do a couple of murders, and I don't know if he was trying to plan to get murdered by cop, or if maybe he was thinking, if I've completed what I wanted to do, I'll just commit suicide. But if you ask me, from what they've researched, he doesn't have any type of link to that one particular CEO that would make him only want to kill that CEO. He had an issue with the entire industry of healthcare, right? And health insurance companies. So I do believe he was going to kill again. And I think, the broad scope of the investigation that they carried out with so many people involved got him caught up early. That's it. Anyway, chat, have y'all seen this?